cut the tooth, then I'm ready to advance it again. Alright, we're ready to cut. Finally, I'm ready to cut the first tooth. Now take care that you run your cutter in the correct direction, and in this case I've mounted it such that I will be running the machine in forward, in other words cutting clockwise, and I'll be feeding toward the dividing head. Take care that you have plenty of room in here and you do not strike the dog or anything else here. You might be using a chuck so that you have clearance and do not run into the chuck. Use a little oil on steel. Make sure you wear your safety glasses, and again I'm running this at about 660 RPM, and I've locked the dividing head and I'm ready to go. Now if you have a power feed you can of course use it. And there's the first tooth. Now I'm ready to advance the work. I'll loosen up the lock, move the dividing head exactly eight spaces. Now I'm ready to cut the next one. I just locked the dividing head. Unlock. A little dark in there, I have to use the flashlight sometimes. Lock the dividing head. Ready to cut the third tooth. Here's the fourth tooth. Here's a view from this end. Now I won't show all of it. I'll get back to you when I'm on the last tooth. Well, now is the time of reckoning. I'm going to cut the last tooth. So advancing the dividing head up to the next hole. You can see now that the sector in the next position comes to the original starting point, which is 12 o'clock high. I always like to start at 12 o'clock high, and I always rotate it in the clockwise direction, but of course it doesn't matter which direction as long as you're consistent. And then looking at the gear, you'll see that there is room for one more tooth. And I'll take that cut and we'll see if it comes out even. And there's the last tooth, number 24. It's looking good from here, but we'll have to take it out and see. And of course, if you wanted to proof yourself, you could advance it one more tooth. And I'm back in the home position, and I could see if the gear cutter aligned with tooth number 1. Now if you look at it and you got one skinny tooth and one fat tooth, you know you have erred. I'm going to take it out of the machine and I'll see you over at the bench. Here it is, and it's looking good. Take the dog off. There's of course quite a few burrs on the back side, as you can imagine. I'll take it over to the press and press it off and be right back. A lot of burrs on the back, so I'm going to take a file and file them off, or sometimes I just take it over to the belt sander and without turning the sander on, I just rub it against the big belt, and I believe that's what I'll do. Take the burrs off on the back. Notice that I put that chamfer on there ahead of time on the lathe. Of course, when you mount these, remember that there is a certain distance. It's called center to center, and they aren't meant to jam together. There has to be a space in there, and that's called the clearance. And some books just say put a piece of paper in there when you install the gears, and that will space it out. And it would be semi-accurate, and it probably doesn't matter. But however, in a $6,000 Corvette 6-speed manual transmission, you want it to be right. 24 tooth, 16 pitch, involute, spur gear, 14.5 degree pressure angle. Now there's only one thing left to do, and that's to put in the keyway. Well, this is a 5/32 wide keyway. In my set of brooches, keyway brooches, this is a relatively large set, and although there is a bushing that's the correct size, that one I guess, yeah, that would be the size to use, but I do not have a brooch that size. The only brooch that I have in here that would fit this is a 3/16. So I'm not going to be able to broach this or put the keyway in at this time. I will have to go down to my buddy Billy's machine shop and do that at my leisure. And so that's it. That's how to make spur gears that will fit on your Logan lathe. And again, it only will cost you about $10,000 for the equipment to do that, but I hope you enjoyed watching